What's up and welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Friday, June 23rd, 2023, the day of our hog. Blessing.
The day of our hog.
The day of our hog,
Salute
everyone.
to the boy Sonic. Happy birthday.
Show some respect, everybody.
Happy 30th. The big 3-0.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
does it feel like he's that old?
You know, it does
that feel old or
because
young?
I'm that old. Like, what's really wild about Sonic the Hedgehog, right, is we're coming up, or today is his 30th birthday, and I'm wearing the bomber jacket that celebrated his 25th birthday. And I recently tweeted out a picture of a poster that I had in my bedroom that I loved dearly, that I miss very much. I'm going to try to convince Gia to let us put it up in every room of our house now, that celebrated his 10th birthday for Sonic Adventure 2. And I'm just like, damn, I've really been on this ride with this little blue hog. You know what I mean?
Dude, I know exactly what you mean. We were just talking about it right before this, where Sonic the Hedgehog, only a year older than me, which I never really thought about. I never really realized, but I think when I think about it, it makes sense for the fact that, like, I think I came up at the perfect time for Sonic hype. You know, there's Pokemania.
Yeah.
There's Mario Mania.
Yeah.
I came at the right time for Sonic Mania. Tim.
Yeah. Sonic Mania.
Sonic Mania.
Fantastic
Exactly.
stuff. I mean, what's fun there is I also did, because I am 2 years older than my boy Sonic. So that was like kind of perfect. I got to grow up with the multitude of cartoons that this little dude and his friends had. Right? And we had some bangers in the 90s.
Yeah.
We had some okay ones as well. But we had some bangers.
That's the same for the games.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess that is true in the 90s too. There were 3D Blast. Not so great. Not so great. But overall, what a time, man. I feel like Sonic is thriving, doing better than ever. Definitely more collaborations than ever.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I said the word that way.
No corroboration. But like, I mean, it's our story number 2. Maybe I should move to story number 1. But like, the fact that we're watching Sonic Central, right, the yearly anniversary stream that they do to celebrate and talk about all the collaborations, announcements, all that stuff, and we're looking at chat, and chat is so positive, and chat is so like hyped about the weirdest, most random collaborations. Oh, there's Sonic Lego shit going on. Oh, let's fucking go. Like, people are so excited. There's a Sonic cooler. Oh, that cooler looks dope as fuck.
Cooler. Like an ice cream. Like, what are you talking about? The chat is popping up. It is such a beautiful, positive thing to see. It's weird as hell.
It's so weird.
As hell. But you know what, Bless? Me and you were there too.
Yeah, I was in chat like, oh, let's fucking go. Tell me more about the Lego Sonic appearing in Sonic Superstars for some reason. I don't know why, but sure, I'll take it. That seems cool, yeah.
Yeah, anyways, it's so funny. I'm really excited for Superstars coming out later this year as well. So,
you know what I'm excited about? It's Sonic's birthday.
Yeah.
And of course, I feel like with Sonic Day, something special has to happen every single year.
Of course.
And there's something that happened this year, Tim, that you're not aware about yet.
Oh.
Unless you saw
no, I'm not aware. Just one last thing I want to say. I do
for it.
love that there's something in the air about this. Your birthday, July 2nd. My
Yes.
birthday, June 30th. Sonic's birthday, June 23rd. There's like something about this like 10-day period. You know what I mean?
Are you a Cancer?
I am a Cancer.
Is Sonic,
We're all Cancers.
Is Sonic a Cancer? Does that line up?
Yeah.
You might be on the like. That might be it. You know, it might be an astrological thing.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, we're all just connected via the space.
I hate this.
Barrett, I dropped a video in Assets. It's the Twitter video. Somebody on Twitter tweeted at us with the video. And at first I started watching this video and I was like, oh, okay, what is this? Like a fan's tweeting us the thing. But it turns out to be much more than that. So Barrett, if you can prep the video and show it to Tim.
Hey, Tim. Hey, Blessing.
Wait,
this
what?
Is Johnny from Crush 40. Do you know me? Do you know me?
Yes,
well,
I do.
I know you. I wanted to take a minute and congratulate you and the entire crew of Kind of Funny for your incredible success. The new studio. I'm watching you guys. I have my eye on you. I just wanted to say hello. Wish you guys well. I want to come visit you and sit and talk and hang out. I hope you're well. Kick ass. Thanks for being Sonic fans and Crush fans. See you soon. Let's get together.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
What the hell just happened?
When I tell you...
That is the man that sings Escape from the fucking City.
When I tell you that I started this video and I was like, oh, a fan like paid for a cameo. Like, I thought it was a cameo until he started talking more. And I was like, oh, he legitimately is talking to us. This is fucking wild. This is the best Sonic birthday ever.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Also, the answer is yes. Come through, please.
Come through. You know, I have a perfect date for him to come through.
Yeah?
January 6th. You know why?
Why?
Those Sonic Orchestra's coming to San Francisco.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say kind of funny's anniversary or something.
No.
Yeah, no, that'd be incredible.
Yeah.
I also thought you were going to say your birthday because that's happening, what, like a week? Yeah.
June 30th. Yeah. But I mean, he'll be here. He'll be in San Francisco. I imagine that. I don't know why.
Also, January 6th is such a wild date.
I know.
You said it, I was like,
I did it
where
for
are you
dramatic
going with this?
effect.
God.
This is a Friday. Plus.
Yeah, what a way to start.
Hold on,
today.
that was crazy. I need a moment to like reset.
Yeah.
Did that really just happen?
Yeah.
What
My
the
God.
fuck, man?
I've been listening to that man's voice for decades.
Yeah, for decades.
Escape from the City, Sonic Heroes.
That was his 10th anniversary. His 10th birthday.
Like, hell yeah. Please come through the studio. Please hang out. What we got to do is, like, we got to do a stream, like a Twitch, like, Sonic stream.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Do like a marathon
Sonic
stream
Adventure
or something. We got to take a Sonic Adventure with Crush 40.
Holy crap, man. Hey, that is really damn cool.
Thank you so much for that.
Well, hey, thank you so much for that. That is awesome. Today's stories include E3 possibly being canceled for the next 2 years, Sonic Central updates, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through all the video game news that you need to know. Of course, if you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you'rewrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or listen later on podcast services around the globe. Remember, you can use our Epic creator code KINDOFFUNNY when you're shopping on the Epic Game Store. Even buying free games, just putting our code in, it helps give us money at no cost to you. It's really cool. To be part of the show, you can head to kindoffunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, patreon.com/kindoffunny will get you the show ad-free, plus a bevy of bonus content.
Here's what I want to call out to.
Please do.
Right? There's somebody in the chat that's like, man, Sonic fans are something else, and y'all say Kingdom Hearts fans are bad. Let me tell you, if Utada Hikaru hit you up and was like, I've been watching you, I love what you do, I want to come and hang out with you, you would implode. you wouldn't be able to live on this planet anymore because you wouldn't be able to believe that you're in reality. All right? That's what just happened to us, Tim.
Yeah.
That's what just happened to us.
You're
And
right.
It's cool as fuck.
It is
We're going to
cool
celebrate
as fuck.
it.
And you know what? Hey, there's some people out there that are Sonic fans and Kingdom Hearts fans.
Oh, yeah.
Deal with that.
Like this
all
guy.
right? Like this guy, okay? Oh, my Lord. A new PS I Love You XOXO is up right now, and the crew's breaking down PlayStation's multiplayer plan and Blessing's video about it. You can check that out now on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. I love it. I absolutely love it. Bless put out a banger episode of The Blessing Show that everybody should go watch. It's only 8 minutes. It's a very condensed 8 minutes of a great editorial take on your thoughts on PlayStation's multiplayer strategy thus far, what you predict the future to be of it, and all of that. And then you got a lot of feedback and comments of people that didn't agree with you. Some people agreed with you. Then y'all took that conversation to PS I Love You. How did it go?
It went well. Like, I think it was a really good conversation. I think by the time we got to the end of the episode, I think all of us were very happy with how the discussion went.
It was so good. Like, Greg forgot to toss to ads, and I had to slag and be like, hey, I think we need to toss to ads. And that's like, because they were all getting lost in the conversation. It was a really good one.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Of course, you know, Janet and Greg are bringing their opinion to the topic, and then the whole episode, we're bringing in audience write-ins to talk about what you guys think about PlayStation and their live service thing and the multiplayer stuff and like people's thoughts and opinions about the video I made about it. And so, yeah, definitely go check out. I think it's a must-listen episode of PS Love You XOXO.
I love it. And then over on Patreon, there's a new episode of Remember Blank featuring me talking about memories of Final Fantasy with Bless and Greg. It was a good one. A lot of great write-ins from the audience as well. Some really, really fun stories. Final Fantasy, turns out people have a lot of memories about it.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of different favorites of them. But my favorite thing is the amount of memories of a collective, memories with family, with brothers, with sisters, with moms, girlfriends, boyfriends. Like, there's something special about Final Fantasy in that way that it helps people connect. So check that
A lot
out.
of sharing the hype lately, and I love it.
Oh my God. Here's the thing.
Mhm.
Bless. We've played Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
We've beat Final Fantasy 16. We now get to spend the next week watching people play through it on Twitch, and we get to see their reactions to what we've seen.
Oh, yeah.
What we know is coming.
My favorite has been seeing all the Sid thirst, and I'm like, man, I was there, man.
You were there,
You know, we
man.
were there. I remember my first time seeing Sid and being like, oh, I know what's about to happen with this character.
Yeah, I see Sid. I'm like, I am parched. All right.
Goodness.
goodness.
What a
Like,
man.
What a man. A new PS I Love You XOs. I already said that. What I didn't say is right after this and after the post show, Blessing will be joining the stream team to play Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn cool.
There's an online stress test going on right now to where they're stressing all the servers or testing all the servers and making sure all that stuff works. And to do that, they get codes into people's hands. And so we got hit up with a code, and it's free for content creation, right? Like we can make whatever we want with the code, and that goes up until goes on until Monday. And so we're taking the time this afternoon. I'm grabbing the sticks. I'm sitting down with Mike, Andy, and Nick, and we're playing some Mortal Kombat 1.
Fuck them up.
Oh my god! Well, I don't know what features are in there because I don't know if it's because obviously online is in there. I don't know if local is available. If it is, oh yeah, we're for sure gonna throw down. But even if it's online, I'm sure Nick will hop in there and get his ass beat.
Yeah,
just
dude.
destroyed, torn to shreds.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Casey Andrew, Delaney Twining, and James Hastings. Today we're brought to you by BetterHelp, but we will tell you about that later. MS Campo says, did Bless intentionally wear a Tails-colored hoodie today since Tim's in Sonic Blue?
Oh,
look at
wow.
us right
Yeah,
now.
we do look like Sonic and Tails. Oh, man.
Oh, I love
I'll take
that.
it. I'll accept it.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Yeah, we're brought to you by BetterHelp. We'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report.
It's
time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
Baker's dozen. Sorry,
Bless,
I don't have it in my voice today,
I'm
so.
still thrown off right now.
Yeah,
It's just-
by the Crush 40.
Yeah, like, how the fuck did that just happen, man?
Do you remember in Sonic Prime where there's a character named Nines?
Mhm.
And that was such a cool introduction for a character.
Mhm.
I love that character so much.
Mhm.
Go watch Sonic Prime.
Yeah. We saw a little bit of
Yeah.
the teaser for the new one today. We'll talk about that later. First, we got to talk about story number 1. E3 2024 and 2025 are canceled, according to Los Angeles Tourism Board. The ESA says no final decision yet, though. This comes from George Yang at IGN. E3 2024 and 5 have been canceled. At a meeting on June 21st, 2023, the board presented a packet with updated information surrounding the tourism business in LA. On page 21, there's a chart that shows the city's convention sales for the fiscal year 2022-2023. Under the heading, quote, booked room nights produced, there's an asterisk that notes includes E3 cancellations for 2024 and 5 at the bottom right. In a statement to Axios reporter Steven Totillo, an ESA representative said that E3 2024's fate is still to be determined. Quote, ESA is currently in conversation with ESA members and other stakeholders about 2024 and beyond, and no final decisions about the events have been made at this time. 2023 was canceled earlier this year, and ESA didn't confirm whether the event would be returning in the following years. 2024 and 5 were scheduled for June 11th and 3rd, respectively. It's unclear whether they will ultimately go through as planned or if they will move to another city entirely.
Is there a chance they move to another city entirely?
There is a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's slim, but
Yeah.
I do think there's a chance. It has happened before. When people look back at the history of E3, it's changed. It's had many forms over the years. And I feel like what the people listening to this and the people at this table right now talking about it, when we think of E3, we're really thinking about what? 2005 on?
Yeah.
Because that's when video live streaming really started happening. And that's when E3 started meaning more to us than just, people got to go there and we read about it in a magazine, right? I feel like that is when E3 became, and maybe even a little before that, because there was the blogs, the live blogs of just text popping up of like IGN reporters, the Fred Mirabellas of the world, being in the room at the Nintendo conference, updating like, this just happened. That just happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'd be like refreshing, F5ing that shit. And then that's what E3 means to us. But there was a couple years where there was one that was in Atlanta. There was one that was in, I want to say Santa Monica, 2009, I think it was. There was a much more scaled down E3. Then we got to the ones that were a bit more like the kind of funny, like my and Greg and them's modern IGN times of E3 of what we really think of it as being. And then the last couple years were the transition to the public E3. The transition of, Sony's dropped out. What does that mean? They've dropped out. What the fuck even is this anymore? So anything could happen because E3 isn't anything right now. Like, not only was it canceled this year, I feel like the identity of E3 hasn't been consistent enough year to year in the last half decade to really be able to look at a pattern and be like, I expect this to happen. The easiest pattern would be, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. The every year for the last maybe forever, but definitely the last few years, there's always been a KFGD episode titled "Is E3 Dead?" or "Is E3 Finally Dead?" Right? There's always some kind of version of that title as we talk about E3 getting canceled, E3 going digital only, E3 trying these different things, and those things seemingly not sticking. Right? And I had a struggle to not call this episode "Is E3 Finally Dead?" But I mean, I think the question stands of, I don't see E3 happening next year, and based on this report, right, even the year after, and that's for a multitude of reasons. I think this is another continued. All right, cool. If it's not happening in LA, is it happening? Period. Because you mentioned the ones that have happened elsewhere. Were those ones successful? I feel like I've heard people talk about the Atlanta one all the time, in not positive ways, right? I feel like that one gets made fun of for how non E3 that E3 was.
I think the Santa Monica one does.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of Santa Monica.
The Atlanta one was a real E3. It was just a different time. Like,
gotcha.
I want to look that up because I feel like the Atlanta one was like a long time ago, which I'm talking about. I think it was even in a pre-modern, what I was talking about, E3 landscape. Yeah. But yeah, the Santa Monica one was weird. Like, I wasn't there, but my first E3 was 2010, I want to say. So it was like the return to the convention center. And I remember hearing the veterans of IGN talking about their experience and like, oh yeah, last year's was like not it. Like, it's so good to be back and like really have this kind of feel like the real experience.
And I think on top of that, you look at the ESA and how it seems like they've been struggling to figure out what E3 is.
Paris, of course, comes in with Atlanta was 95.
Oh, so gotcha. Yeah, so I'm thinking of Santa Monica.
And then Santa Monica 2007. So yeah,
gotcha.
I was off by a couple years there. But
yeah, like I think on top of that, right, like the Santa Monica one being a weird one, right, and like E3 being so solidified as, okay, it's at the LA Convention Center. It is this big thing that is in the central location because the games industry is in places like LA, San Francisco, but like LA is this great central point for people to converge and talk about all these things and do all the things you need to do at E3. ESA has been struggling so hard figuring out what the identity of E3 is, so much so that E3 this year was canceled, not because of COVID, right, but because we just couldn't figure this shit out, right? Ubisoft pulled out. We couldn't get other big companies in. What is the point of this? Like, what is the return here? We got to cancel it and figure it out another time, right? And another time seems like it just won't come because, you're not figuring out this year. What is there to figure out next year? What is there to figure out in the future in terms of what E3's place in the industry is when you have Summer Game Fest, when you have digital streaming for announcing stuff, when you have all these other options as big companies and publishers and studios to do things in ways that save more money or ways that just make more sense when you have Keeley events happening throughout the year as opposed to everything being centralized in June.
Yeah, there's so many interesting points to break down there. I do think one thing is Ubisoft didn't pull out. Ubisoft was one of the ones that committed to E3. Remember? And they were like, if E3 happens, we're there.
But like, I think they committed.
Happen.
But I think they committed and then they pulled out.
But didn't they only pull out because E3 wasn't happening?
I could have sworn it was the other way around, but that's the kindoffunny.com.
Yeah, like let's get.
I think they happen close to each other.
But even then, though, I do think that they were committing. Like, remember, Eves had that quote of saying like, if it happens, we'll be there, and that was like a weird thing to say. I do think that whether or not the timeline of how they announced it was out there, I think the realities behind the scenes were they committed to E3, and it just got to a point they're like, yo, this isn't happening. Like, and you can kind of see that even in what ended up happening with Ubisoft. Ubisoft having its live show was a bizarre decision.
Yeah.
Just period. Like, no matter how you shake it, that felt out of time and out of place.
Felt like a result of them
preparing to be a part of this thing.
And if that's what E3 is, E3 doesn't have a place, right? Because that kind of conference doesn't have a place. Like, that's the thing is the industry has evolved so much in marketing and all this stuff that I can't visualize what an E3 is even in the future, right? Even in the coming years, you have to shift all the way to being something like a PAX or being something like a fully audience-facing thing, and we already have those. It's called PAX, right? Like if we already have a Summer Game Fest now for this way better and way more malleable and way more focused and condensed way to announce games, right? In a way that I think understands video game marketing more because Jeff Keighley understands how that stuff goes, right? Jeff Keighley is working with the right people and he is forming an event and forming a family of events, right? When you're talking about that Opening Night Live, Game Awards, he is forming this system that works way better for how the games industry works right now. What is E3? Like, what can that even be anymore?
A point that I think is not made enough in the conversations of Summer Game Fest and E3 is that Summer Game Fest is not the E3 replacement. It's the Judges Week replacement. Judges Week is now just getting a much more prominent focus where it's media coming, a small group of media coming to play a bunch of games, and then they judge them on which is the winner of this thing. And the level of games you're getting there are not going to be Sony first-party things. They're not going to be Nintendo games. They're going to be Sonic games. They're going to be Alan Wake and Mortal Kombat. Big games, but those are more on that the multi-plat level, and not all of those are, but like you get what I'm saying, right? Like there's just like a type of games that have been at Judges Week, and not the type of things that you expect to be announced at an E3 or whatever. I think Jeff very wisely has also introduced the Kickoff Live showcase to have a place for announcements to kind of replicate what the audience thinks of E3 being, which is the press conferences, not the actual show floor stuff that has pretty much, no matter what way you look at it, only gotten worse over the years in terms of access, in terms of what's actually there, in terms of the quality of the experience of it all. You bringing up the PAX side of things, I think, is really interesting. There is a place for gaming communities to gather. Yeah. It is riveting. Like being there, there's an energy and there's a love. I think that even that market, though, kind of got too big and burst in 2016 or so, when there was 5 RTXs and 6 PAXs and all of it, where it's like, this is just too much. There needs to be kind of a focus on making each one of these events kind of stand out and be their own thing. And then you kind of see, in the same way that like Nintendo Directs came out, and then over time, because of a bunch of reasons, everyone started doing their own digital showcases like that. We're now seeing people do their own live events. PSX was a major win. Yeah. Because there's a focus and because they have access. They can control what they want, and they have access to all the things the people that are going to be there actually want to see.
Yeah, and they don't need E3 for that, is the thing, right? I think that's the point here. When we were talking about Summer Game Fest being the E3 Judges Week replacement, right? That's just another utility being taken away from what E3 brings to the table, right? When you talk about that utility being taken away, and then, yeah, the PlayStations of the world being like, we can just throw our own showcase whenever we want, and we don't have to, like, give people all of our games to play at the same event, right? We can control that. Like, I'm sure Spider-Man 2 might have a preview, might not, right, for press hands-on. If that does, PlayStation can make that happen whenever, right? Yeah. PlayStation can call up the outlets they want and go, hey, show up at this location, play this game for whatever our demo is, and then go home and write about it at embargo. And you don't need E3 for that, right?
Totally. They're going to do that. Yeah. If it was a different time and E3 still existed, we wouldn't have gotten hands-on with Spider-Man 2. We would have went behind closed doors and been able to see a slightly extended demo. Yeah. That's just how they do things like that.
Yeah. And now the options are open, right? You talk about that. You talk about the digital demos as well, where people can do that over Discord if they want. The thing you just described, right? The behind closed doors. Now it is behind closed voice channel that you hop into, like a developer's or the studio's Discord and watch a presentation via Discord. That can happen, and that can happen so easily without E3. And that is way more money saved. That is way less effort, and that is probably easier for all parties involved because we don't have to take a day off making content, right? We can schedule that in, and it takes 30 minutes to an hour to watch a presentation and then maybe get a preview build.
And on top of that, there's, I think, a very important conversation about access with all of this stuff and about smaller outlets and all that. It's a lot easier for people to jump into a Discord from anywhere they are on the planet to be able to get this, as opposed to, hey, we need to disrupt our lives and fly, for us, a 50-minute that might be a 5-hour flight down to LA. But for other people, that's not the case. Yeah. It's disruptive to have to fly to London to do a demo for a game. It's cool, and there's a lot of perks there. There's a lot of downsides. And I think that everyone's realizing, it's better for everybody to do it in different ways. It's a little less exciting, right? But I also think when you look back at the realities of things, E3 hasn't been exciting, the convention itself, in a long, long time.
So from this Steven Sotillo tweet here, right, him saying that the ESA, this is a quote from an ESA representative. ESA is currently in conversation with ESA members and other stakeholders about E3 2024 and beyond, and no final decisions about the events have been made at this time. Is E3 done? Like, is it? Can we pack it up?
I don't think it is. I mean, look, E3 as a brand with that logo, I don't think is done. I think it's done. E3, what you remember E3 being, what we all want E3 to be, yes, that is done. I think it's been done. And I think that every single sign shows that ain't coming back, nor can it. Yeah. Should it? I think that's a different question.
But what do they do with that brand and that logo and what E3 is?
Who knows? I honestly, I think that what they did the year Greg hosted was a cool step forward. Very not perfect, but like hey, we're actually going to try to just put on a live show, which, mind you, Keely's done for years with YouTube, right? What IGN's done for years, GameSpot's done for years on their channels of, hey, it's this E3 time. We're going to do front to back demos. We're going to like react to the conferences. The industry has changed. People don't just want to watch the conferences. They want to hear people give thoughts on the conferences. Like, think about it. Like, back in the day, IGN did not talk over their conferences. They just showed them. Now people talk over conferences. People want that. You can always go back and watch it separately. Both are available. I think just the way people want this information, expect the information, has totally changed. But what hasn't changed is the value of devs being able to sit down and do an interview or a demo and talk about their game for 30 minutes. And that's why you continue to see what Keely did with YouTube back in the day, what IGN does, GameSpot, I wish we could do. We just don't have the means or resources or time, but we did it for GDC. Yeah. Because GDC is here and we were able to bring the indie devs in and every 30 minutes cycle people in and out. There's so much value to that experience, right?
Mm-hmm. For me, I look at E3 in a similar way that I look at THQ now, where THQ during PS2 era, around that time, everywhere, right? And like they're doing their thing, they're making 1 billion games, they're occupying this like AA space, right? But they're dominating in that space, right? And we knew that name THQ. The industry changed and games got really expensive to make and other people made better games, right? And smaller developers were making smaller games and THQ kind of just got pushed out because that stopped working for them, right? They couldn't continue to occupy that space because that space became less viable. They went away, and then all of a sudden, like THQ Nordic rises up from the ashes and is this weird thing that just exists. And we look at it and you're like, oh man, that's weird. I think E3 is going to become the same thing where E3 might go away for a little bit and then come back, and it's just this thing we look at and we're like, oh yeah, I remember E3. Now it's E3 Nordic, and it's like doing its own thing and trying to exist and making weird business decisions. Like I think that's kind of what E3 is going to be. It's just going to exist in the ether until it just stops existing, and maybe comes back again over the years. But I can't think of a way E3 comes back where it's dominant again, right? And that is what the ESA wants. I think it's tough for me to think that they would go from being the central place where all these announcements and conferences are happening, where Spike TV is covering it, where that is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. We hold it up to such a high regard. From going to that, then pivoting to something that would be a smaller slice of the pie, right? Which could be streaming and could be the E3 that we saw a couple years ago with Greg and Golden Boy and Michael Hyman and all that stuff, right? That I think that would be a good pivot because I think that was good content and I think that was engaging content, but that wasn't as big as what E3 has been, and I don't think they would be satisfied with that. I think it's all or nothing for them, and I don't know. Like I don't know what that means for them trying to come back and thrive and be bigger than ever. I don't think that can happen.
For the thousands of people watching this, that's the best analogy you're gonna hear all fucking year. E3 Nordic.
E3 Nordic.
E3 Nordic. You know what? I'm feeling a high right now.
Yeah.
Starting the show with Crush 40. Getting in the middle of the show, having Blessed, dropping some fire. But you know what? I need a little break. So we're going to cut to some ads. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. I know this from experience, how often it just seems easier to care about others and to keep it moving. But when we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burnt out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my very best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny. Story number 2. Sonic Frontiers Birthday Bash DLC adds a new game plus mode today. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Sega is launching the second free DLC update for Sonic Frontiers today. The game's Birthday Bash update was revealed during a Sonic Central presentation on Friday. Sega said celebrate Sonic's birthday on the festively decorated Starfall Islands. Spin dash your way to the party with new challenges, moves, collectible Coco, and New Game Plus. It's the second of 3 free Sonic Frontiers updates planned for 2023. Today's Sonic Central Showcase, which you can watch now, coincided with the release of Sonic Origins Plus, an expansion pack for Sonic Origins, which includes all 12 Sonic titles released for the Game Gear. The presentation was also used to show off more of Sonic Superstars, the new 2D Sonic Hedgehog game Sega announced this month. They also talked about a bazillion and a half.
How'd you like that Sonic Central stream?
I mean, it was exactly what we expected and needed to be. I mean, like, it was we knew that there wasn't going to be a game announcement because they just announced Sonic Superstars at Game Fest. So I wasn't expecting a Sonic Adventure remake or anything like that. That's just not, they would have done that a couple weeks ago. So I feel like this was a great job of just, hey, we're just celebrating Sonic. There's going to be a bunch of announcements, and some of the stuff is not going to be news. It's just going to be, here's all the Sonic things that are happening this year in one place. And I think they did a great job with that. And I think that we have Origins coming out, Origins Plus, which, like, there's a lot of debate about the quality of this one, but there's a lot of goodness, a lot of things about it. But it's out now. They want to talk about that. And then Sonic Frontiers DLC, showing off that stuff. Like, that seemed cool. Like, I wasn't a big Frontiers guy, so, like, that's not going to get me back in.
I was, and I don't know if I'm going to go back in, right? Like, I think I'll be back in for a big new story thing. I could see myself enjoying that, but yeah, that's not the kind of game that I come back to over and over again throughout the year, right? That was kind of a one and done for me, but I still love that they're updating it. I love that Sonic is the kind of brand where there's enough different Sonic things that there are updates and actual updates to give, right? It's not to throw shit at Capcom out of nowhere, but it's not like the Capcom showcase where it's, oh yeah, here's a trailer for a thing you've seen already. All right, rewatch this trailer for this game that we just, like, it was a lot of just retreads and re-announcing things. Sonic Central had a lot of new Sonic content in it, right? And that's just one franchise that they have so much to talk about, whether it's a new clip to see from Sonic Prime, whether it's the Lego integration into Sonic Superstars, whether it's just Sonic Lego stuff in general, and them showing the new Eggman thing that they're doing that I don't know how serious they are about it.
Yeah, that was, like, there was a weird thing, but what's fun is Sonic can be self-aware and, like, laugh at itself. And I feel like they did a good job with the Lego side, because, like, I don't know if people out there know this, but, like, there's been a lot of video game Lego collaborations recently, like Mario and Sonic being examples. And people are kind of upset with some of the decisions because they're not traditional Legos. Like, there's not minifigures. They're like they're just weird. Like, it looks like off-brand Lego, and that's a big choice for the Mario side. They're trying to, like, target a different audience, but the Dr. Robotnik Eggman Lego, people wanted a minifig, but instead they made like a monstrosity. Sonic was a minifig, and this played on that. It was just like, hey, we know you want the minifig, you're getting the minifig. And then they kind of went hard making fun of themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's Sonic the Hedgehog, everybody.
And I loved it because it got really weird where Lego Dr. Robotnik started taking over, hacking the stream, and the voiceover person, like, appeared on video and is like, hey, what's going on, right? And literally, like, in the voice booth, looks at the video and is like, you've not seen this guy. Like, it's not like it was being hosted by, like, a named person, right? He just happened to be the voiceover dude, and they put him in the video, integrate it in a fun way, and Dr. Robotnik takes over. It was a pretty fun stream to watch. I came out of it being like, oh, it was whatever. It was fine. Like, as you know, somebody who likes Sonic, when it ended, I was thinking that was going to end on, like, a one more thing, and I didn't need a new game or new thing crazy, but there was nothing in there where it was like, this is the big tentpole thing for the stream, but it was still fun. It was still a fun thing to watch.
I mean, for me, it's like we got the orchestra dates and tour spots, which is, like, huge for us. Like, I'm very excited about
did they announce anything about San Francisco? I wasn't able to.
January 6th.
Oh,
that's why I was saying.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's happening, which I'm extremely excited about. It's coming to a whole bunch of different places, which is cool. But again, they delivered on the promise of, hey, more news coming soon, and then they gave us news in this. The one thing I was looking for is an actual release date for Superstars. It still just said fall 2023. So I was like, damn it, a missed opportunity there. But shout out to Sonic Central for the presentation. We're always talking about, like, the pacing being off or, like, just it not being right. For the lack of, like, big information in this, that was a fun 30-minute stream. I watched it, and the way that they have fun with themselves, and it's like, hey, here's a bunch of collaborations. There's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and they just get progressively more and more like, who is asking for this? But, like, it's funny.
Like, the Sonic cooler was the thing that killed me, where I'm like, why? But also, I kind of want one. Like, I'll rock a Sonic cooler. Why not? And there's so much of that stuff. And it goes back to the comparison I always make with Sonic the Hedgehog and why I like Sonic the Hedgehog is the fact that Sonic is my Hello Kitty, right? Sonic is my, like, it's not just the games, right? It is, I just like this little hedgehog, this little blue hedgehog. He's great. Like, you got on the bomber jacket with the Sonic logo on it, and it's fucking fresh.
Yeah, look at this. Look at the inside.
Sonic is about the
Green
vibes.
zone, baby.
It's not about the quality of video game.
Sometimes
if Sonic was about the quality of, sometimes every now and then
people that like Sonic was never good, go fuck yourself.
No, Sonic has been good sometimes.
Yes.
If
Sonic
Sonic
has been good sometimes.
If Sonic was about the quality of video game alone, though, it'd be done. It'd be long done.
It'd be
yeah, Sonic is about so much more. It's about the
more,
vibes.
man. God. Story number 3. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2's games have reportedly leaked. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection 2 lineups reportedly leaked. Publisher Konami confirmed the full lineup of games included in Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 on Wednesday, as well as its release date and the platforms it will be available on. Following the announcement, Twitter user Nitroid found that the Metal Gear Solid website has added buttons to its franchise timeline for the games included in Volume 1, plus placeholder buttons for Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. After this discovery, IGN reported to have heard that the 3 games are set to be included in MGS Master Collection Volume 2.
Heck yeah.
May MGS4 rise from the prison of the PS3.
Let's go. I'm still happy this is happening because I was not confident that this is going to happen.
Me neither.
You know, on one of our streams, I think we mentioned that, like, somebody asked, you know, what games would you think are going to be in Volume 2 if you don't think MGS4 is going to be in there? And I was like, I don't think Volume 2 is going to come out. It's nice to see that even through leaks and through data mining, right, we come to figure out and we come to learn that Volume 2 is planned and it has the exact games that you want in there, right? Yeah, give me Peace Walker, give me MGS5, and then yes, give me MGS4 because it is ridiculous how that's been locked to the PS4 or PS3 actually for all this time, right? Unless you had PlayStation Now for PS4.
Yeah.
Except for now because they took it off. Fucked up. Like, what are they doing?
Video games, baby. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Where I'm going to be completely honest. I'm still not convinced we're getting a Volume 2. And
Fair enough.
Even if we do, I'm still not convinced that MGS4 is going to be in it and work the way that we need and want it to. Like, will it still be cloud-based? Will it still have some, like, hey, the game's come here.
Could you imagine
asterisk.
if it was
I
cloud-based?
totally can. Just letting people know. Prepare yourselves for disappointment. And then, hopefully, we'll all be like, whoa. And let me tell you something, Bless. I think I could be wrong.
I hope you're
Anything can
wrong.
happen.
Because I didn't even think about the idea that they could just give you a cloud version and just have it be the PS Now version.
Mario RPG's getting a remake. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Okay?
I don't think it's gonna be that.
I don't either.
Because it's gonna come out. I mean, you would think that it comes out on all platforms, right? Because MGS1 Volume 1 is coming out for all platforms, and if that's the case, I don't think you can do that for Switch. Well, technically, you could do cloud stuff for Switch, and you could do cloud stuff for Xbox. Fuck.
Other games, other companies have done that. Yeah,
But it wouldn't be the PS Now version.
I'm gonna need.
Oh, Jesus.
What's up, guys? The KevCam finally works again. Chat, I'm gonna need y'all to edit the Bart Simpson meme where he goes, Lisa, you can see exactly where the moment his heart breaks with a blessing from like a minute and a half ago. Because when Tim brought up that idea,
The cloud,
it
yeah.
was so just like,
Yeah, it sucks, but guys, take it in. It is,
Can't
I
happen.
think, a more likely reality
No.
than... I think it's more likely to be that than Metal Gear Solid 4 just actually coming out on other platforms.
No, absolutely not. I refuse.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people
appreciate that.
throw the word copium in chat. It always annoys me. This is copium for me though. Like
Yeah.
I'm,
Oh, I get it,
I
I get it.
refuse. It can't be the cloud version.
Dude, and on top of that, trust me, I don't want that. I want to play Metal Gear Solid 4 on my PlayStation 5 so bad. I want to replay that game. I've never replayed that game since it first came out.
Really?
I've
Dude,
played moments and
I'm sure you
things,
watched
and
the
I've watched
stream.
streams and all that stuff. But I love MGS4 and I can't wait to go
I
back to
forget
Peru.
where. I wonder if I kept that doc because we were kind of doing our own like little mini interview at the end of each game of like Mike and I's like separate rankings and all that stuff. I think 4 was my favorite. No, 3 was my favorite. I think 4 was second favorite.
Yeah.
Four is like it's endgame, right?
Yeah,
Where
totally.
they
It's so
wrap
good.
everything up and reference all the things and like give you all the feelings that you need. But it's like Endgame isn't necessarily like the best MCU movie from like a cohesiveness and like actually like telling like a solid story and all that stuff, but it's the most hype, right? And that's what MGS4 is. It's the most hype.
And I love that shit.
Yep.
More than anything. And God, MGS4 delivered. Story number 4. Guerilla Games has memorialized Lance Reddick In honor of Lance Reddick, we created a memorial to commemorate the profound impact he had on all of us. Thank you, Lance, for everything you brought to the role of Silence, your gravitas, energy, wisdom, and more. An incomparable talent and friend. We miss you terribly. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think this is the tasteful side of these type of things. And, you know, I just think it's cool that video games can do this, are doing this. And this is an unfortunate situation.
It breaks my heart every time I think about the fact that, like, one, that Lance Reddick passed away, right? But, like, also in the case of Guerilla and Horizon, his character was so instrumental in that story and has such a presence in that story, and he plays that character so well. So, yeah, it makes so much sense that they'd want to memorialize him in some way, and I think, going about it this way and placing this this tribute to his character in the game, and not even his character, this tribute to him, right? It doesn't say Silence.
Yeah.
It says Lance Reddick in the game. I think that's powerful.
It is powerful, and it's, you know, it's interesting when we talk about video games as a separate medium from movies or TV and just like how they're unique. And in so many ways, there's the similarities, and like we're getting this moment where we're getting amazingly talented actors like Lance joining video games, and like I think even more so kind of legitimizing video games as a narrative structure in all those ways. And we've had that conversation a million times. But video games are ongoing and living and can be updated in ways that don't feel disrespectful. And whereas I feel like in movies and stuff, people get really upset about Hayden Christensen being in Star Wars, in Return of the Jedi, like that type of stuff.
See the
like,
Spider-Verse updates?
There weren't updates.
Well, no, Across the Spider. Well, I saw the report saying like there's multiple versions of the movie.
Yeah.
I assumed that was an update thing.
I don't think so.
You think they just put out multiple versions?
Yeah, that's how people noticed. From the beginning, it's been that way, and now people are like, "That's not what he said in my version." And then now people like went in and deep dove, and it was like, "Oh yeah." But they did update the sound mix.
Yeah,
But
then that's what I assumed, that it was. Oh, we're gonna update the sound mix, and while we're here, let's just fix things that we thought were weird.
yeah,
That's interesting.
God, I want to watch that movie one more time.
How many
At
times
least
you
one
watched
more
it?
time. I've only seen it twice.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah,
I had a second viewing planned. I forget what happened.
yeah.
I think I just didn't. I think I just didn't go.
We're just in a big problem point right now, Bless, where there's too many movies coming out, and there's only so many premium format screens, and it's just not worth watching these movies in non-premium format places. I'm putting my foot down.
Premium format.
So
Like you
Dolby,
talking about Dolby? Okay.
IMAX. All
what
that
we're
stuff.
saying is that our theater wasn't the only one that had like weird audio mixing at like the very beginning and stuff, right?
No,
That
yeah,
was
it was the game,
Oh,
or not the
okay.
game. It was the movie.
Okay, cool. Because I thought I was going crazy not being able to understand the like intro VO and then the outro like kind of VO at the like very beginning and end. So that's nice.
Yeah.
I thought I was just like I had a moment where I was like,
Am I
am I
high?
old? Am I old? Is this just too much for me now? But all right, cool. Good to know.
Story number 5. Embracer Group paid $395 million for Lord of the Rings rights. This comes from KJ Yasman at Variety. In a surprise deal last summer, they finally revealed how much was paid, and it seems like they got a bargain. The Carlsbad headquartered company has confirmed it spent SEK $4.2 billion, $395 million at today's conversion rates, to acquire Middle-earth Enterprises from the Saul Zaentz company last August. At the time the deal was announced, the Embracers and Saul declined to say how much Lord of the Rings holding company had sold for, but estimates at the time projected the rights, which include worldwide rights to films, video games, board games, merchandising, theme parks, and stage productions,
Jesus.
were worth up to $2 billion. It turns out the reality fell significantly short of that. For contrast, Amazon's rumored to have paid $250 million alone for the rights to make the TV series The Rings of Power, which they snapped up directly from J.R.R. Tolkien's estate. The right to make a Lord of the Rings TV series longer than 8 episodes was one of the few interests in the franchise not owned by Saul. Amazon Games have also struck their own deal with Embracer to develop and publish a new massive multiplayer online game based on Lord of the Rings, so an MMO of LOTR. The sales figure for Middle-earth Enterprises was revealed today in Embracer's annual report, which comes just a week after the games group revealed an aggressive cost-cutting program, including layoffs, game studio closures, consolidations, and restructurings.
Consolidations. A sound business decision, I guess, from Embracer Group, being able to acquire Lord of the Rings for that low amount. It's fucking wild, and also like makes me wonder, like, what's the story there? Like, how are they able to get that price? Because that's
I don't know.
ridiculous.
There's just
Like, I feel like me and the homies could have pulled together money to buy Lord of the Rings at that rate. Like, it's selling for that low? What the fuck? Who was in charge of that? Who is this Saul person?
Yeah, like we could have gotten Greg to call somebody. We could have
pulled together that money to buy you Lord of the Rings.
That would have been
Did
an
they get it on
insane birthday
Groupon?
present for Andy Cortez. You know.
That is happy birthday, Andy. Here's Lord of the Rings.
What's the coupon app that like sponsors us sometimes?
Honey.
Did they use Honey? They
use
must
Honey,
have used Honey. They like saw it online. They're like, wait, let's see what Honey says. Ah, snap, that's a steal.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Yeah, I don't know. This is all weird, but again, the moment you bring Embracer into it, things get weird.
Things get really weird.
Things get real
But
weird.
also, like, man, okay, so I'm trying to do the math in my head, right? Because they acquired for $395 million, and like, what, Amazon is rumored to have paid $250 million alone for the TV series, right? But they got that directly from the J.R.R. Tolkien estate. I'm trying to think of like, they must be making so much money off of Lord of the Rings if they're spending that little for it, and they have all these rights for it, and they're able to make like for the okay, this is my big question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked this question when the news first came out, like a few weeks ago. But who the fuck did they mess up that deal with that like has them in shambles right now? Because they should be swimming in money based on getting Lord of the Rings for this low. Like
Well,
they should be printing money.
But you got to do the math on that, right? Like the we're not there yet. Like that's why
sure.
when you read that article, the quotes are, yo, we're shifting to Lord of the Rings. We got this shit. Fuck everything else.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that this actually paints that story. I mean, it's all dark and unfortunate in any way you shake it. But it makes more sense than even it did for us when we were first talking about it. It's like, of course they're going to go for Lord of the Rings over other stuff.
What was the word? They got to not abuse Lord of the Rings. It was something like that.
Yeah,
though.
what was the word?
X something, right? We got to
exploit.
We got to exploit Lord of the Rings.
And like,
I get it now.
now even more, it's like, oh, yo, we got to come up here. We could be making that money off of this shit.
Yeah.
And they're going to. Because, I mean, dude, $395 million, that is a, these days, poorly performing blockbuster movie.
Mm-hmm.
Flash.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, not quite, but it's around that. For all of Lord of the Rings, for the stage play.
Yeah, for pretty much all
you know
the
how
rights.
much money's in stage plays?
All the rights except for like TV series, right? Because Amazon has that.
Well, just the 8-episode thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so they
series
can release
longer than
something
8
up to
episodes.
7 episodes. Could you imagine?
Oh, man. Well, I'm sure this won't be the last we're talking about this. But story number 6. A Nintendo shareholder meeting was disrupted by a ranting Splatoon 3 fan.
Did you see the story?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm excited for you to read this.
Chris Scullion at VGC, everybody. Strap in for some fun. Nintendo's annual shareholder meeting was reportedly disrupted by a fan who purchased shares specifically to rant at the company's president about Splatoon 3. As first reported by Twitter user nstyles, who attended the event, the meeting's Q&A session included someone loudly ranting about female characters' perceived preferential treatment in the third game when it comes to customization options. Reportedly, the fan was unhappy with the number of customization options available to male characters in Splatoon 3, including hairstyles and emotes, compared to those available to female characters. According to nstyles, the rant continued for some time, causing Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa to interrupt the fan and tell him that his question was too long. This was reportedly ignored, and the fan's rant continued. Eventually, he stopped, and the president reportedly replied, quote, "Thank you for your interest in playing our game. We appreciate your valuable opinion." So I'm going to stop there before we continue with the story, Bless.
Yeah.
That alone is just like, so many eye rolls.
Yeah.
Eye rolls and eye rolls and eye rolls. We've all been there. We've been to conventions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a panel.
Yeah.
Get to the Q&A section.
Is this an out of season April Fool's joke?
Yeah.
People just come up and just ask the dumbest fucking shit.
Mm-hmm. There's always got to be that guy.
There's always that guy.
Yeah.
I don't think Nintendo expected that guy in one of their shareholders meetings.
Well, because
right?
why would you?
Why would you? And how could that guy
How
get
could
there?
who let
How
him
could
in?
he possibly do it? Following the event, a Twitter user identified themselves as the person who asked the question. According to the user, they specifically bought $3,570 in Nintendo shares so they could attend the shareholder meeting and share their complaint. They then shared photos of numerous letters they had sent to Nintendo about the topic previously, claiming they got no response, so they decided to buy shares in the company to get a chance to raise the issue directly. According to the user, they even bought and resold items such as a Nintendo Switch OLED console in order to raise funds for shares, despite their parents telling them to, quote, not get involved.
All right, here's my first takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
Men would rather pay $4,000 to complain about video games than go to therapy.
Showing the full written question, which appears to be extremely lengthy, they wrote, quote, at the Nintendo shareholders meeting, I complained about the current cold treatment of Splatoon boys.
I'm out of here.
God damn it! God fucking damn it, I hate you! Don't call them Splatoon boys! Don't even do that! Quote, halfway through, I was told there are other people who want to ask. So the second half took a lot longer than planned, but I managed to tell them. The incident echoes a similar, though seemingly less intense, moment in last year's shareholder meeting when a Nintendo shareholder took the opportunity to ask Nintendo to release a new F-Zero game.
What's going on in these shareholder meetings? Y'all gotta vet y'all. First of all, y'all gotta raise the prices of these shares apparently, because, god dang, like gamers are out here and they deserve less. Like you're telling me that you had the ability to raise $3,570 to go to a shareholder meeting to basically get your YouTube comment like heard directly by Shuntaro Furukawa, the Nintendo president. Like,
Go to therapy.
You could have just kept that up, kept flipping the switches,
you could have
and you
sent
could
a
have bought
letter.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like exactly. You could have bought the rights to Lord of the Rings, except if you wanted to make like a television series that was more than 8 episodes. That's wild that you were able to raise that much money.
Slacks in the chat and puts it best. This sounds like a Tim Robinson skit.
Oh my lord. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It
this does
really
sound like a Tim
does.
Robinson skit.
Oh,
Oh man,
well,
I really want to know. I don't wish I could be in that shareholders meeting because like I'm sure the feeling of like skin crawling of, oh, who is this guy? Why does he keep going? Like this is so awkward. I'm sure that feeling was palpable in the air. But I would love to watch the video. I'd love to watch the playback.
man, bless. If this guy will ever get his Splatoon boys drip the way he wants it, I don't know. It's so far away. But if I want to know what's coming to Mama God Shop State, where would I look?
You would look toward the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah.
We even talk about the Splatoon boy fashion. That is why you're here. Like,
I'm heated right
at least
now.
talk about like the controller drift or like I don't know,
Or
man.
the lack of F-Zero, you know?
Or the
Real
lack
complaints.
of F-Zero. Yeah. What is going on with Metroid Prime 4? These are questions we want answers to. You're mad about the Splatoon boy fashion? It's not even what the game is. Like it's a PvP shooting game where you shoot paint and try to get more of the area than the opposite team. Why are you worried about the customizable features of your Splatoon boy? Ask questions that matter. You were in front of Shuntaro Furukawa. Like, ask him where the Switch Pro is. Ask him
Mother
what's going
3.
on. Oh, yeah, ask about Mother 3. Ask about like when is the next fucking like what was
When are
that?
we bringing Wind Waker to Switch? Like
Where
anything.
Star Fox Grand Prix? What's up with that? You know what I mean? Is the Mario team really making a Donkey Kong? These are questions to ask.
Out today. Sonic Origins Plus on literally everything. Everdream Valley on Switch. Fire Emblem, The Blazing Blade comes to Nintendo Switch Online. Which we had this conversation last week, right? Where I was saying like I didn't play this one, or I played a little, whatever. I didn't get it, and I was like, Roy, it's Roy's game, and someone was like, it's actually Roy's dad, right? Was on the episode with you for this? I think I was.
Possibly.
I've been seeing people tweet about this game with the box art because like Nintendo tweeted it yesterday. Are you really telling me that's not Roy? Like, I feel like I'm getting gaslit.
Hold on. Now I gotta see this.
Like, Barrett, can you please bring up Fire Emblem The
I'm
Blazing Blade?
looking for it right now. It's the Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah. Everyone's saying it's Elwood, which is Roy's dad. So that's Roy's dad. That's not Roy.
Huh. That's not on you. I would have assumed that was
It's
Roy.
so funny to me. Every time I see it, I feel like this can't be right. But I believe you. I know that it is right.
Listen, this is like when the Dragon Ball Z, I forget the name of the artist, but like the very famous artist that did Dragon Ball Z. If you erase the hair from all the characters, this is the exact same character model.
Yeah.
It's like that
Similar to
situation.
Simpsons too. A lot of similar character models there.
Toriyama, thank you, chat. Toriyama. And that doesn't even just go for Dragon Ball Z. That goes for all of his art. You erase the hair off of a Dragon
Warrior.
Yeah, Dragon Quest character. That's just Goku. This is bald Goku. All of them look like Krillin.
Oh, man. Sky Caravan's coming to Switch. Swoon, Earth Escapes coming to PS4 and PS5. New dates for you. Cry Machina launches October 24th in North America on Switch, PS4, 5, and PC. And Activision will shut down the first Call of Duty Warzone on September 21st. Real quick, Mike, does that matter? No, it doesn't matter, everybody. Deals of the day. Remember, you can get 20% off your order from RT Store merch with the code Jabroni. You can go to store.roosterteeth.com. Look for kind of funny stuff. Use the code Jabroni, Jabroni, and you get 20% off. That sounds really cool, really fun for everybody. Let's do a real quick reader minute.
Let's do it.
You want to do
We
that?
got some fun ones.
Kabobs writes in and says, "What's up, KFGD crew? My question's a classic. How would you rank this year's key 3 showcases? Mine are Xbox, Summer Game Fest, Nintendo, PlayStation, Ubisoft, Capcom. My ranking is judged not just on the content, but the presentation of it, which is why Ubisoft's so low, despite containing some great titles like Prince and Outlaws. Do you guys agree, or would you swap some of them around?"
My list would be Xbox first, SGF under that. Then it gets between Nintendo and PlayStation for me. I might put Nintendo above PlayStation because I think Nintendo lived up to my expectations more. And I think I need to go back and look through like all the things announced at PlayStation, because I feel like people give PlayStation too much flack because they disappointed, right? But I don't think it was a bad showcase. I think it was just very fine and okay. But I'm gonna put Nintendo above PlayStation, and then Nintendo, then PlayStation, then Ubisoft, then Capcom.
Yeah, so you're exactly with Kabobs, and I think I'm there too. I feel like there's a couple debatable things of PlayStation, Ubisoft. Like, PlayStation missed the mark in terms of expectations, but they had Spider-Man, and there was still things that I'm like really excited about. Ubisoft absolutely shit the bed in terms of presentation, but they had real big banger games. So those are a little bit more equal to me. I think at the end of the day, I'm so upset at how Ubisoft presented, but I'm more disappointed in how PlayStation Showcase tarnished the name of a PlayStation Showcase.
That's the thing is, yes, like Ubisoft, I think when you look at the content, if you read that content on the list, it's like, okay, yeah, that was a pretty good showing, but the way they presented that stuff, I think, really was bad. But then with the PlayStation Showcase, we got Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, right? Like, how cool is that, right? You go through and you get...
Yeah, you're right. PlayStation's first.
Yeah.
Or above UB.
Above UB, yeah. Like, you get Marathon, of course. You get another Street Fighter trailer. You got a Destiny trailer. And then looking through, you got Spider-Man 2, right? And then, Fair Games. Helldivers 2, like, that's exciting for, like, a group of people, right? And I think that game's going to come out and do pretty good. But Concord. Alan Wake 2 had a pretty dope trailer at PlayStation Showcase.
Fantastic one,
A really good trailer. Dragon's Dogma 2 got gameplay. We saw Assassin's Creed Mirage. We got Final Fantasy 16, another trailer. Foam Stars was there.
Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
More than any of this, like this is a great question, and we had a fun time talking about it. I think that this, overall, the games announced this year are incredible.
Yes.
I feel like from a game announcement perspective, now that Summer Game Fest season is complete, this was a great one in terms of announcements. I think most of our upset, disappointments, all that stuff is in terms of presentation, expectations, and a lot of questions not being answered. But those questions will be answered. It's not like all the things we expected to see at the PlayStation Showcase aren't eventually going to come. And they're going to have to come sooner than later.
Yeah.
So,
I think like if we weren't judging by like presentation and all that stuff, right? Like on a content side, I don't think there was anything. Well, if I don't count the Capcom Showcase, I don't think there was anything lower than a 3, and maybe I can make the argument for even a 4. But I think 3 and above is when you get into the presentation where it's like, okay, there might be a 1 or 2 2s in there, but I think there's some really exciting games. I'm very excited for the rest of the year in games. It might be the best year in games ever, and even next year now we got a bit better view of what 2024 looks like, and that's going to include a Star Wars game from Ubisoft that I couldn't be more excited for.
I'm saying this
and
right now.
a Peach game.
And a Peach game.
I think this is already the best year in games, and I think that I can definitively say that at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fight me, everybody. Or more than fight me. Give me some solid evidence against that case.
Let me compile my argument for 2017.
Yeah.
And then we'll
Go
take
for
it
it.
back. But I think there's a good chance that by the time we get to the end of this year that, it'll be better.
You can go to kindoffunny.com/yourwrongs. Let us know what we got wrong today. Nano says E3 2007 was Santa Monica, not 2009, which I already know. 97, 98 were Atlanta. So not 95. 97, 98.
Let's go back to Atlanta.
I'd be down to go back to Atlanta.
Yeah, I haven't been to Atlanta.
I've only been there once.
Yeah.
From MomoCon.
Oh, is that in Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a
rarely
big fan of the Housewives of Atlanta, so maybe I'll meet them.
yeah, run to
Candy
the
Burress, man.
the local Schnucks.
What?
Schnucks?
I don't know.
You don't know Schnucks? That might be a very Midwestern thing. It's like a grocery store.
Yeah.
They probably don't have it in Atlanta. Schnucks?
Schnucks? No, I don't know Schnucks. We have Giant Eagle.
Okay, you made that up.
Eagle.
Giant Eagle, man.
Giant Eagle?
In Ohio? Yeah, man.
Huh.
Look it up.
You have Aldi?
Oh.
Aldi, yes. we do
Gotcha.
have, yeah.
But let's say Aldi. I feel like that's a universal one.
Mike Yo says UB pulled out of E3 March 27th. E3 was canceled March 30th. Yeah, my point that I'm making is like those days behind the scenes, they pulled out because it wasn't happening.
Gotcha. See, I view it the opposite way. I think E3 is like immediate. I'm sure those discussions happened before these dates, but I think Ubisoft was probably the last straw.
The fact that Eves had that quote saying that we're there if it happens to me says that this is just the behind the scenes announcements of it, that of those conversations happening. He wouldn't have said that if they were planning to pull out.
Yeah,
So.
that makes sense.
Um,
Oh yeah,
Kevin
shout out
L.
Meyer.
Kevin L has a very important thing. A release submission. The final episodes of Pokemon Ultimate Journeys is now on Netflix. This is the English version of Ash winning the tournament. So
Oh, shit.
y'all should check it out, man. If you have not watched Pokemon since whenever the hell you gave up on it, I would highly recommend watching the 4-episode final battle between Leon and Ash. Like just watching that 4 episodes, it's all the one battle. Very, very cool.
Bear, do you want to have a viewing party?
Maybe.
Right.
Get high.
Might get that on the books. We're doing a live watch
I
along.
watched it on this big screen behind you.
Ooh, that'd be sick, actually.
Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, we absolutely crushed that shit. House Games Daily. What a ride.
Yeah, I
We had
feel
some
honestly,
fun times, we
I'm
had
putting
some
this
dark
up there.
times.
I think this is one of the best episodes.
I think so.
One of the
too.
best years in gaming. One of the best episodes of KFGD.
Yeah, we're just crushing it, bless.
Yeah,
Me
crush
and
40.
you put us together at this desk.
Yeah.
Magic's gonna happen.
Magic is
give us
gonna
some
happen.
video game news to talk about. Guess what? We're gonna talk.
It's gonna get talked about.
It's gonna get talked
Let's
about.
go.
Next week's hosts are Greg and Bless. Tuesday, Greg and Bless. Wednesday, Bless and Greg.
Hey.
Thursday, Greg and Tim. And Friday, Greg and Bless. I'm only on one Games Daily that week. That seems wrong.
I think you took yourself off of something.
Oh, because it's my birthday next Friday. We're about to do a banger stream, and I'm gonna be doing that all day. That's gonna be
Take
fun.
some time off, Tim.
I'm gonna take some. I'm
Pick up
taking
the
Monday
feet.
off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
hang
yeah,
out. Yeah,
Uh,
relax.
Well, I'm taking Monday off because the concert's on Sunday. Sunday night. I was
Oh.
like, I couldn't get back here if I wanted to.
Well, treat yourself Monday.
Thank you.
Go
I'm
to
gonna
a
treat
spa.
myself. Oh, I'm gonna go to a Vanderpump restaurant. If you're watching live, Snow Mike's about to join us. We're gonna talk about super chats. Remember, if you're on YouTube, you can super chat us with your questions about any of the news stories we had today, video games in general, or anything you want to ask me, Mike, or Bless, and we will answer it. If you're on Twitch, you can do the exact same thing by resubbing and just leaving a little message, and Mike will read that question to us as well. We like to be equal opportunists in ways to make us money, right, Mike? That's the correct answer, everybody. Love you all. Until next time, have a marvelous day. Wrong outro.
Game daily. Yeah, you could have played that off. I was like, oh, what a delightful thing to say.
Yeah. That's
Have a
the
marvelous day.
MCU and review outro.
What a show.
I need more info on this Crush 40 thing. That was crazy.
That was super wild.
Like, Bless,
Like,
do you think
no
that this
context.
ends in us dressed up as Sonic characters with
Yes.
Sonic Adventure 2 footage behind us with Crush 40 here performing Escape from the City live?
See, I think it ends with us doing rap verses on a Crush 40 song.
Fuck, Bless.
Could you imagine?
Holy shit.
Like, come on.
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Me and you, can we write a Sonic? It's like the
Like,
Sonic
we need to
film?
write our verses as Sonic
and
characters.
Shadow, dude.
And like present it to Johnny. Like when he comes and
This
was
is it.
surprised. I mean, unless he watches this episode, which won't be a surprise. But either way, we'll surprise him with it. Be like, hey, we wrote these verses as Sonic and Shadow.
Love this.
It's a great idea.
Sounds like you guys got something to do.
Yeah, we do. Only
I
wins.
love that. I love that. Welcome in, everybody, to your Kind of Funny Games Daily post show where we hang out with the team here at the desk and we dive a little bit deeper into today's news stories. And of course, the big news right now, these two jabronis got to get on the pen and paper.
Yeah.
They got
Now,
to get with the pad.
Before we
Start writing something dope.
before we continue, right?
Please,
I'm looking at
take me
KFGD
away.
headline. Right now, my KFGD headline is E3 24 and 2025 seemingly canceled. Should I change it to some Sonic thing, Tim? Like, Is there something hotter there? Because I know we had the hype coming off of that Sonic thing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like this was a very Sonic episode.
Yeah.
And like, does anyone gonna give a shit about us talking about E3 being canceled for the upteenth
exactly.
time? Is anyone gonna care about us talking about Sonic? Me and you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that we matter.
Maybe Blessing and Tim receive a Sonic surprise.
We might want to work on that. But
Hey. I like that.
oh man.
Shoot.
Let's jump in to today's super chats because we have some fun one right now. Squid Kuma writes in and says, "How many shares of Kinda Funny do I have to buy to voice my complaint to stop the apparent Indiana Jones hate agenda?" Hashtag Squid Boys.
I want to let y'all know that I thought about this
Did you think about
for
us? Yeah, yeah.
hours last night.
Uh-huh.
And but what I was thinking is, how do I like correctly present my argument? Because I feel like we're arguing different things, and I was trying to come up with a poll to put on Twitter of exactly what it is. And I don't know. Yesterday, the closest I can get is what I said yesterday, which is if Machine Gun Games released a
Machine Gun.
I
games.
love that. Machine Gun Game.
Machine Gun Kelly's
if
game
Machine
company.
Games released a
You got
Wolfenstein
embarrassed out of
3
the pop punk genre now.
Games.
if Machine Games released a Wolfenstein that got a 9 out of 10, a Wolfenstein 3 that got a 9 out of 10,
Yes.
and if Machine Games released an Indiana Jones that is console exclusive on Xbox that received a 9 out of 10, what is going to have more impact in games?
But I feel like that's a weird one because Wolfenstein being a third iteration versus Indiana Jones being like a new franchise and the first in the series, like already, like it's how do you define impact, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be talked
that's
about.
not what
a
the
bit more.
conversation was yesterday. With impact.
Well, then what was the conversation?
Was more success.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, I'll say even excitement, right?
Because
Like,
But that's
impact,
what
I could
I'm saying.
go into like how other devs take away from it and what they're learning from it and all that stuff.
because I guess the argument that I'm making more is Indiana Jones as a video game IP. I think it's just fine, right? Like I think that could be like it for a new game coming from Machine Games. I think you can make a Wolfenstein 3 or a new IP, and it would have like a similar level of like, all right, let's go as the Indiana Jones, right? Like Indiana Jones being placed on a box, like or Indiana Jones being the IP for Machine Games thing. I think it's fine, right? Like it doesn't do that much for me, and I don't know if it does that much just for people in general.
I think
Like,
definitely that's
Yeah?
where we disagree on this.
Okay.
I think that indie being on the box versus Wolfenstein on the box for an equal quality game, indie matters more.
but like, how? Like, I guess my thing is for indie in general, right? Like the last time we got a good indie product was when.
I mean, it was a while back.
The
There were
original
great
three.
classic games on the PC, but I'm not arguing that the impact of indie video games. Wolfenstein is bigger in video games only because, simply only because Wolfenstein has had great quality titles recently. You give indie a quality title, all of a sudden it matters, and it matters more than Wolfenstein.
I might disagree actually.
Like if this game comes, if indie comes out and is a 9 out of 10, then when Indie 2 comes out, it's going to sell better than Wolfenstein 2.
That's
Facts.
fair. But that's
I don't even think that's the
argument about
question.
that's an argument about like Indie 2 if Indie 1 is great and actually like picks up traction though.
That's
you know?
my point. If they review, if it gets a 9 out of 10, and in a world that Wolfenstein gets a 9 out of 10, we're apples to applesing here.
All right, sure. Yeah, I'll buy that. The sales.
Yeah.
Mike.
Any metric you want to talk about then.
I think I think it depends on the genre a little bit. Because like I think if it is a third person action Uncharted type thing, then yeah, I could see it. If it's a traditional what we know from Machine Games and from Todd Howard, it's a first person adventure, I think it sells less.
Mike,
I think it does less than Wolfenstein even.
can you give me an Indie?
Indie! Yeah, see, I was on the opposite side because what stuck with me was you talking about Uncharted, and you talked about Uncharted 1 not being the best. That really moved the needle, right? Because it took some time to get to where it is. Indie 1, maybe not moving the needle, but for me, it was console exclusivity. I don't think people will be screaming about Indie being exclusive, right? That's not the PlayStation fanboys losing their marbles that Indie's exclusive now.
I agree with that. I don't think it moves the needle that much.
I think
I don't think an indie game sells Xbox.
I think we hear a whimper. I don't think we hear a roar like we've heard. I think Starfield is the last Bethesda product that will hear a roar from Bethesda, from PlayStation gamers, that Bethesda is exclusive. I don't think anything in the future now that Bethesda's really been cemented as exclusive will cause a roar from the PlayStation audience ever again like Starfield.
Yeah,
I think
adding these layers
we're
to the
over
argument is I agree with some things you're saying, but that's just because Xbox has fumbled the fucking ball so much.
I
that,
mean,
like,
they fumble, and
so it's
yeah.
like that's the thing where I'm like, I don't think that indie is going to sell Xboxes, but I do think that indie could be the thing that turns that tide. And one of the things that starts turning the tide in the same way that, like, again, indie's not Spider-Man, but PlayStation having Spider-Man, having that thing.
Big deal.
Now all of a sudden, when we talk about PlayStation games, we're talking about, like, not just PlayStation. Like, we think of every kind of Feudi we debate, is Spider-Man a PlayStation character or not? That's wild. And I do think that we could in the future be debating if not even debating, Indiana Jones will be seen as an Xbox character.
But do you think Indiana Jones is going to be like, when we look at when Microsoft puts out the splash page of, here are IP, and it is, Halo, the Forza car, and like that stuff. Indiana Jones is going to be front and center in there.
Yes.
Only if
the
this game is a hit. Only if it's a hit.
And critical hit is what we're talking about.
It's got to be a
It
mega
gotta
hit.
be good.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing
worried
'cause,
that
like-
they put this game out and it's a modern 7. It's just a generic game. We never talk about Indie
Ever again.
We
but
move
I think
right
that's
past
the
that.
tough thing with the argument is that I think if they put out any game that's a 9 out of 10, then it's going to do pretty well.
I know, but what I'm saying is compared to Wolfenstein. Like,
Okay.
we're legitimately comparing it to Wolfenstein.
That
if,
I can
if
accept.
they both got the exact same. If Wolfenstein's exclusive to the Xbox, Indie's exclusive to the Xbox, they're both 9 out of 10s. Indie is selling better by a demonstrable degree.
Demonstrable. I don't know about demonstrable.
Really
Millions.
quick, just because
I think we're
it's,
overestimating indie.
really
Indie's
quick,
power.
just because it's slightly related, because it's day 3 of courtroom stuff with Xbox and FTC. Phil Spencer confirmed Starfield was potentially going to skip Xbox prior to ZeniMax acquisition. Apparently, like Bethesda was in talks of like just having that on PlayStation, which is wild.
That's
Interesting.
awesome. I
Alternate
love all this
universes,
shit we're
man.
hearing.
Yeah, this is wild. Andy's in a full
It was also
suit, they
like
say.
a Call of Duty thing, right?
Yeah, Phil Spencer, yeah.
Call of Duty had like a similar conversation because they wanted a bigger slice of the pie. They wanted 80% as opposed to the 30-70%.
That sounds like they got it.
And then they got it, which is fucking insane.
Crazy.
It's the juggernaut, dude. They can do
Yeah.
that. They can strong arm that. Tim, this question is for you, coming in from Nevin K. I'm gonna leave it up to you. Your favorite song here?
Oh,
I've never heard of this group.
favorite Meteora song and most
Meteora,
underrated. Meteora,
okay.
the album
Who
by
is that?
Linkin Park. Second
Oh,
album.
yeah,
Linkin
I'm not
Park's
a big
second
Linkin
album.
Park guy.
Yeah.
Except for when they teamed up with Jay-Z once.
Hell yeah, Collision
Then
Course,
I heard a
baby.
couple of them. Then I heard a couple of them.
Yeah, a lot of those songs were from Meteora. I would say that my favorite Meteora song is Faint. I'm always a bigger fan of the rap stuff, and Shinoda fucking goes off. Those drums are just insane too. So big fan of Faint. And the most underrated is one that I really didn't like when I was younger, but now when I re-listen to it, which I have been a lot recently, Easier to Run, I think is a banger. With my refined palate, listening to Linkin Park's second album as a 33-year-old man.
Talent. I love that. Let's keep it going with Matt G. Writes in and says, Tim, have you heard the Netflix movie Nimona, based on the great graphic novel, animation reminiscent of Spider-Verse, the new Puss in Boots, out today?
It looks incredible.
Oh, really?
Very
Okay.
excited for this one.
I'm going to watch the Pokemon, so that's what.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you.
That's what I'm saying.
The final couple episodes of Pokemon.
Me,
got
you,
me.
and Barrett get on Twitch. We do a live watch along.
Okay.
We all press play at the same time.
Oh,
No, we just do it here in the studio on the big wall behind
And then we
us.
stream it live in front of 7,000 screaming
7,000
fans.
screaming fans. Dude,
How
that
do you feel about
fucking-
Tim and Bless celebrate Sonic's birthday?
not as good as the other one.
we receive us.
Exotic surprise.
We receive a Sonic surprise.
Yeah, I like
Dog
that.
surprise.
DJ Kento writes in and says, I noticed the Metal Gear Solid collection doesn't list MGS 1 or 2 as their subsistence versions.
So we've
I think
talked
they'll be
about
paid DLC.
No, it's like
What do you think?
they're not calling it but the stuff is in it. Like all the,
Oh,
the
okay.
extra
Yeah,
features.
like
and all
Metal
that
Gear
stuff are
1 and
there.
Metal Gear 2 are in the Metal Gear Solid or
3.
Metal Gear 3 or whatever.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Everybody, it doesn't make sense, Mike.
Just get 4 off of PS3, so we
And
all
it does
four
say,
everywhere.
like, in the collection, it does say that they're the HD collection versions, and the HD collection versions were subsisted, whatever the fuck the other one was called.
Unique Technique says the Metal Gear Solid collection seems like such a money grab. So gross. Is it a money grab, Tim?
I mean, yes. But
we gonna
I'm
get-
happy it's happening.
Yeah, I want the Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 remakes.
Oh my God.
Of
Well,
these games to that's my. You want my
MGS3.
money?
But I
know,
think MGS3
but, like, that's
is
what I
the
want.
testing bed
You know?
for that. But it's also like it's cool that these older games are coming back to other platforms because we played through 2 and 3, I believe, on Xbox, and then 4 was on PlayStation Plus before it got removed. Metal Gear Solid 1, I had to like get on GOG, and so it's cool that Metal Gear Solid 1 is coming to modern platforms in a way.
Yeah, totally.
Joshua D says, with all the amazing iconic fighting game installments we get this year, is anyone else sad we are not getting Soul Calibur? I wish for Soul Calibur 2 on Switch. Bless you, my fighting game
Oh
guy.
my god, Soul Calibur 2 on Switch featuring Link would be such a slam dunk.
And it's one of those things that could never happen.
Yeah.
But could it?
Like maybe it could, right? Like why couldn't it, right? Like that just involves Bandai, right? Yeah, Bandai Namco talking to Nintendo and making it happen.
And they have a great relationship. I mean, remember, Bandai Namco helped co-develop Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Yeah,
So-
and so I think there's something there. But there was another part of that I totally forgot. Oh
A
no,
new Soul Calibur.
Where is
Yeah.
Soul Calibur? Or I also miss Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur though is like when you're talking about popularity and sales of fighting games, Soul Calibur is on the lower end, right? And like Bandai Namco also has a back and forth thing going on where it's Tekken, then Soul Calibur, and then Tekken and Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur, the last one, wasn't that long ago, right? It came out for PS4, and I want to say it came out in like 2019. But right now, like all focus is going to be on Tekken. After Tekken's out, I think that's when there's like a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a break, and then you start to roll into a Soul Calibur. So you'll get one at some point. What's that?
Project L.
Oh my God, Project L coming soon. Hopefully, I'm very excited for Project L.
I should have done this.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's like half a box.
Giving him the L right there.
Yeah.
Zanfair writes in with a tier 1 sub for 65 months. If you were to predict the 6 nominees for the Game Awards Game of the Year, what would they be? My guess, Final Fantasy 16, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, and Sea of Stars as my wild card pick.
It's funny because this was like the second question that we didn't get to on KFGD. Somebody wrote in a very similar thing of, saying that like the lock-ins for Game of the Year right now probably seem to be Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, and they even threw in Diablo in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Diablo,
Yeah, I
where's
think
Jedi
so.
Survivor?
I don't think Jedi Survivor makes it.
You know?
I think there's a chance. I would be more surprised
Oh,
by.
you're thinking Jedi Survivor over Hi-Fi Rush? Really, Bear?
Oh yeah,
Easily.
I think Jedi.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Bear's saying, he doesn't think they make it in. You think Hi-Fi Rush is making it in though, Bear?
No, I don't think either.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them
that's
make it
that's
in.
getting booted, right? Yeah, I'm
See,
thinking
so-
so.
Yeah, I think it's easily like, you got Zelda, Final Fantasy 16, Diablo 4 are the like.
See, I think Jedi over Diablo 4.
Yeah, die.
I don't think so, man. Like the way people are so into Diablo 4, like in the industry as well,
Yeah.
specifically. I think,
But I
there's
think
just, like such a fervor for it.
Jedi Survivor speaks to a greater amount of people, is the thing, right? Diablo 4 is
I see
for
both.
that Diablo audience.
The only reason I don't see both potentially is that we got a lot of bangers upcoming.
And then
Super
also-
Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah, like
It's gonna
Super
be
Mario
there.
Bros.
You think it's a lot for Game of the Year?
I mean,
Good call.
yeah.
That's
You
crazy.
talk about mainstream appeal.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
that game is like. I just want people to understand how much 2D Mario sells and how many Switches are out there.
Yeah,
now.
but like 2D Super Mario in terms of Game of the Year conversation, I feel like doesn't usually have that as big of an impact as a 3D
right.
Mario.
You're absolutely right. But I think that we haven't had a 2D Mario to even have that conversation with.
Mhm.
The last one we did was 2013 on the Wii U, and people hated the Wii U. So like that was like a non-starter. People were sick of 2D Mario at that point. They're not sick of it now. Again, this is a complicated year because of how the level of quality titles we're
Yeah.
talking about and the amount of them. But
See, what I'm thinking, there's 6 nominees, right?
Yeah.
Give me
Zelda,
6. Yep.
Final Fantasy 16, Resident Evil 4
Oh,
is for
fuck.
sure going to be in there.
Oh,
I think Jedi Survivor, Spider-Man 2, Starfield. I think those are the 6.
some other polls from people just so while you get your 6. Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk out here. I've seen from some
that's
jabronis.
DLC.
That's DLC, but we're still getting just some big polls that people are coming out with. Metroid Prime getting a little bit of love here in the chat. your Mario game getting some love, Dead Space getting some love,
I can see Liza P getting in there.
Lies of P and Alan Wake 2 getting
Oh,
some love.
fuck, I forgot Alan Wake too.
Dude, oh fuck.
Like, I'm just
yeah.
throwing out the big names people are throwing here.
Yeah, so Zelda.
Oh my
Final
god,
Fantasy 16.
Hogwarts. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Hogwarts getting
Diablo.
some
I can see
love.
Hogwarts in there.
But I also see, we also have to consider like nominees. I think are majorly industry people, and so I would see Starfield, Spider-Man, and then Armored Core.
Armored Core
Is
6.
it-
if
I-
Armored Core would have to be like special is the thing. Like I think there's a good chance Armored Core
But I think
hits for the nerds.
Yeah,
But like
I legitimately think that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the only 100% lock. I think every other one
Mhm.
is dependent on so many factors of like who's voting for what and how it goes.
I think Resident Evil 4 is a lock. I'll be shocked if Resident Evil 4 is not in there.
but I
don't
feel
know.
like Resident Evil, even though people loved it, I feel like it came and went, and like similar to there was a different game a couple of years ago that came out like really early in the year that was like great, but then like the kind of the further people got away with it, got away from it, and how packed that year was, it kind of like seeps through the cracks, and I feel like Resident Evil 4 is going to be in a similar spot.
I think Resident Evil is different though. Like that, I think even though the conversation doesn't feel like it's there anymore, I think because it's Resident Evil, it just sticks with people, and because it's Resident Evil 4. Like Resident Evil 2 was nominated for Game of the Year.
But in 2019.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Very,
That's my point.
very different.
Not yeah.
No, I mean 2019 was fire, but I get what you're saying.
But it was like that level of fire. Whereas
Yeah.
this level of fire is where we're at.
Yeah,
But I feel like
Resident
there's
Evil 4 is one of the reasons though that this year is that level of fire.
100%. But I also don't think that it being a remake and it being a remake that Resident Evil 4 remake is not significantly better than Resident Evil 4 in the way that Resident Evil 2 remake is significantly better than Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
So I just think that there's factors at play that kind of like mute the hype and fervor around it, despite it being a 10.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's fair.
It's gonna be exciting
Yeah.
though.
I
Like
can buy
The
that.
more interesting question I have, because yeah, like the other 5 can rotate pretty easily. Is Zelda the lock?
Yes.
Winner?
Yes.
I think
I think the
Lock
only
winner.
I think the
I
only
think it's
other
not even a
game
chance it's not.
I think the only other game that can touch it is Starfield if it delivers. I think if Starfield delivers, then it becomes a race between those two. I think it'll be like the Red Dead 2 and God of War year.
Yeah.
Mm.
But even then, I think that no matter what, I think it's gonna be more similar to Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok.
Really?
Yeah. I think Zelda. I mean, yeah, dude, Zelda it's different.
Yeah.
And
But
people
also,
can like that or not like
here's
that.
my thing with it is Zelda is it's different, right? It's on a different level, but it's also the same, right? It's also like
Same
we
map.
saw this
A
with
lot of people say same
we
map.
saw this with Breath of the Wild, and a lot of people are having that experience again for the first time. If Starfield comes out and it delivers, it's a new IP, it's a new world, it's a new way to play. I think that newness kind of overtakes the fact that Zelda is giving us way more of what we loved out of Breath of the Wild in a bigger and better way.
But there is also newness. I would argue that like the gameplay systems and how deep they went into the creation of everything.
Oh, for sure.
Is like the new stuff that like we're never gonna see the end of people sharing
Yeah,
shit.
but like I think it's the same argument as God of War, right? Where God of War Ragnarok gave us new stuff
I don't,
and like a new story
I don't think
and all
that's on the
this.
same fucking level of what
I don't think so
like
either.
Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think is on. I think that is on a much greater level from God of War 2018 to Ragnarok.
Yeah, but again, I think these are very interesting conversations. And at the end of the day, all of this just goes back to me being like, I think this is the best year in video games.
Best
Yeah.
Like,
video
I think this
games.
is the first year that coming up with 6 nominees feels impossible because no matter what, games that deserve to be there aren't going to be there.
This is the most excited I am for our game of the year top 10 because like the last few years I've been able to kind of like pretty accurately predict what's going to be like our top 3 and then like have a good guess for the rest of the list. This one I'm like I have no idea what the fucking
Yeah.
order is going to
Here's
be.
my thing, right? Somebody in chat, Gas Cap in chat says Starfield ain't gonna have Korok Spit Roast compilations. It will though. Like it'll have its own version of what that is. If it delivers, this is me like trusting the direct and all that stuff, right? But if Starfield lives up to what Starfield is saying, what it is, it's gonna have that online presence of people making all the TikToks, people making all the trends of crazy shit that they're doing on all these different planets. Like it's gonna have those memes. It's gonna have all that stuff. It'll be some like it happens. I feel like once or twice a year, right? Where an Elden Ring comes out and everybody's sharing their builds and everybody's having this communal experience, right? It's happened this year with Tears of the Kingdom. I think that there's a very good chance that happens with Starfield, and it has that level of conversation. But yeah, like I think Zelda is maybe the toughest competition you could ever ask for.
And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, it being the sequel to one of the best games of all time. The fact that there's so many people out there that are like, my favorite #1 game of all time was Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Once I played Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild feels irrelevant. And
For sure.
that's exaggerating, but it's also true. I've heard many people say that. That means so much. And on top of that, no matter how good Starfield is, which I'm with you, at this point, and I'm turning on what I've said before. Like a couple months ago, I was like, Starfield's going to come out and be an 8. I really am now. I think Starfield's going to be a 9. And that sounds like a subtle difference, but I think that it's a big difference. And I'm hoping for even more. I'm hoping it's a fucking 10.
I mean, I think based on what they're saying, it has to be a 10.
Yeah, I mean,
I think if it's not a 10, it is a disappointment.
but I think that even it being a 10, because of how Xbox has been and because of where Xbox is in the console wars and everything compared to where the Switch is, Zelda did the thing with the amount of Switches out there, with the amount of happy Switch players and all that. Starfield being a 10 is going to get more people in, but I think the conversation there, the sheer amount of people that are going to be interested and talking about it that way is just different when we're talking about the people that are voting in the Game Awards for nominees.
Really quick, Charles Jacobson in the chat asked, will anyone besides Bless and Barrett at Kind of Funny beat Tears of the Kingdom by the end of the year? My guess is no. Well, your guess is wrong because one Kind of Funny Kevin has rolled credits on Tears of the Kingdom. I think Andy will probably beat it. I can imagine,
I think everybody's going to beat it by
Yeah,
then.
I'm 1,000% beating this game.
I don't know if Greg will ever get there.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Greg's too busy with Diablo.
Yeah. and
Mike's
life and
already
stuff.
fizzled out.
Yeah, I'm definitely a hard coin toss. I'm already 2 dungeons in, and I could never touch that game again, or I could jump back in and completely finish that. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just more of a Starfield guy.
Yeah, very
personally.
fun
I'm a
game with
Space
the-
Cowboy.
I can't wait, dude.
Come.
I can't wait for Starfield to see what that is.
We got a lot of fun super chats to get into, so let's keep it going so I don't have to keep you guys here all day. Slushy writes in and says, I'm getting married in August, and I'm trying to decide what to walk down the aisle to. I'm thinking some video game related, but still wedding appropriate, and maybe something like the Final Fantasy.
Honestly, it's so overdone at this point. It's only overdone because I use it for literally fucking any romantic moment that I ever had in videos and stuff. Dearly Beloved from Kingdom Hearts. It's perfect. For people that know what it is, it's like, oh, that's awesome. And for people that don't know what it is, it just sounds like a beautiful wedding song. Dearly Beloved, everybody.
I have 3. The Halo 2 main theme.
I mean, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah,
I mean, that
the
shit's
Yoda
fire.
mix?
Yeah,
Doing
that's
fucking Rockwood.
That shit's fire. I would do that. I would rock Final Fantasy 16 because that's got an incredible score. And then if you
know
really
what a
want to
wedding is?
hey, I'm bringing the hype for this wedding, you know what I mean? Or if I really want to elevate it, you know what I'd do? I'd freaking get on that Skyrim track and I'd let that thing just beat, bro.
Skyrim.
That thing go, bro. Just letting you know.
This guy.
I love you so much.
Let's go to.
I want to shout
yeah, you got
out the Fairy Fountain from Zelda.
Oh,
If play a piano arrangement of that, I think would be very
nice.
good.
I love that. I love that. Let's go to Lyric Spencer, who writes in with a really fun one. Thank you, Lyric. For all 3 of you, what game dev roles do you think you would excel at or enjoy the most if you had to be a dev for a year? Writing, level design, art design, sound design, etc. You guys rock. Hey, right back at you. What would you do, Tim?
I mean, this is a weird. I don't know what counts as game dev and doesn't count as game dev. My answer would be marketing, specifically video trailers and things like that.
Okay.
Showcase presentations,
That's
all
a good
that
one.
shit. Like that's what I'd be good at.
Production coordinator for me.
I like that.
Yeah.
Front desk / tour guide.
Dude, Mike's the best tour guide in the goddamn.
I would
man.
love that. Take me to EA.
You know what I
let me
really want to
it.
do for you, Mike? Me and Joey were talking about this because anytime a guest comes to the studio, Mike's there greeting him at the door, giving him the whole tour. I want to treat it like, and we were originally going to do this when we built the studio out, but like things got out of hand. Like I want to have like a TV screen near the door that can be like when you go to Disneyland and like they do the little like pre-ride
yes,
view
that's
things,
cool.
like explaining stuff. I want something like welcome to the spare bed and like give a whole fucking thing. And then look, we have pre-canned bits throughout it, so people come through the tour and then you come in and it's like an interactive experience.
Hey, what's up, Slappy?
I like that. I like that.
That'd be good.
I would like one of those like little, like you see at Disneyland. I want the waist microphone set up with like the cool
Yeah.
in-sync thing. I'd be like, one second, and then get it all set up.
Yeah.
And take you on a tour. But also, I would do like the sound design, right? Like seeing the Halo Infinite team work with that cute pug to make the grunt noises, or when they were putting the dry ice on the piano chords and the thing was fucking freaking. I would work with that cool sound design team.
Hell yeah.
What would you do?
I'd love to get into like the game design, right? Like the actual gameplay and like structure, and even like moment to moment how a game feels to play, right? And giving feedback there and giving feedback just on like, overall structure, level design, like the actual gameplay. I think that'd be a really fun thing to get into.
We also, you missed it. You guys didn't get to be a part of it, but when we had Todd Howard on, Gary Whitta beforehand, we were just spitballing writers' room ideas, level design and stuff. We had a good time with Gary, just coming up with just like fun, cool ideas that I never get to experience, but Gary in writers' rooms gets to do it all the time, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a really good time, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going right now with Gerard writes in. Gerard is cool. Says it's technically Gerardo. My apologies. Did you all see? There's going to be a Sonic-themed restaurant at San Diego Comic-Con. Also, keep them yams tight, Snowbike Mike. You sweet boys. Have a nice weekend. Thanks, Gerardo. I appreciate that. San Diego Comic-Con, Sonic restaurant. What's up?
It's gonna be a little pop-up. They always have fun little things like that down at Comic-Con. For anybody that doesn't know this, if you were able to go to the San Diego area during Comic-Con, just do it. You don't need to actually go to Comic-Con itself. You don't need passes to Comic-Con itself. The surrounding areas of Comic-Con are unlike any other convention I've been to. It is so much fun.
It's like a convention floor in and of itself, just outside.
I would say it's an even better convention floor.
100%.
So much cool stuff happening. If you want the free swag, if you want just fun experiences, if you want to see like fun like signings and all that stuff, it's all outside. It's so great. So the Sonic thing, yeah, you don't need a Comic-Con pass. You can just go eat a chili dog with my boy.
That sounds cool. I'm all in. I'm sad because I always miss these pop-up things. There was an Undertale one that happened recently in LA, and it's always in LA. But whenever I see pictures of it or like I see friends go, I always get jealous. I'm like, man, I wish I could be there. But yeah, like I'd be down to go to San Diego Comic-Con just for the pop-up, right? It sounds like a fun time. And give me a chili dog.
You guys should dress up as your Sonic characters again and go.
Yeah.
That would be pretty fun. Let's keep it going right now. We have 3 more to get through. Brian Murphy writes in and says, a game I loved for years gone by is Folklore on PS3. Okay, a game I loved for years is gone by Folklore on PS3. I've never met anyone else who's played it. Would love a remake. My question is to the trio: what is the obscure game you would love to get a next-gen remake?
Wow, Folklore got a 9 out of 10 on IGN.
Folklore.
Wow.
There you go.
Never seen anything.
Published by
about this.
Sony.
Never seen it. Never heard of it. That's
Released
PlayStation
2007.
Do you guys want a very important Sonic Superstars update?
Yes.
Yes.
I just sent it to Slack. It seems like it accidentally leaked somewhere, maybe Target, October 17th.
Wait.
Okay, there's a couple things to break down there. One,
No.
if that's true,
No.
why didn't you fucking do it during the Sonic Central Showcase? What the hell, guys? 2, that is 3 days before Spider-Man 2 and
Yes.
Mario Wonder.
That is the same day as Alan Wake 2.
Great.
Put it on the couch.
No. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
This could be
Please.
hard.
Which one of these games moves? I think Sonic is the obvious one.
I think maybe because Sonic hasn't announced their date yet, they have time to switch it up.
And maybe that's why they're not like doing a public thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe on
Like,
the
I
back
could
end
see-
they were telling people.
I could
and
see
then-
it being like they were supposed to announce the date today, and we're
Yeah.
like, hold.
No.
Yeah, that's gonna change because fuck no. I still think even without that, something's got to move because between Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mario Brothers not moving, and Spider-Man 2 is not moving, which makes me think Alan Wake might move.
Yeah.
What obscure video game would you like to have a next-gen remake?
Obscure.
That's the thing is like we're just at a point that I feel like you got to dig pretty deep to get to something that is like obscure that hasn't already been made or remade or
Jet Force
rebooted
Gemini.
or something like that. Yeah, that's actually probably.
And that did get a port, right? Like in Rare Replay.
Yeah.
But I would love for them to revisit it and ground up remake it, and that's like one that only I would show up for. Like that's one that only I would be the only reaction video you'd see on YouTube of somebody like going crazy over it. But I think the game's really fun. I think there's a lot of stuff you can have fun with for modernizing it, and so Jet Force Gemini.
You got one?
Yeah, I mean this is not a perfect answer because I'm talking about a freaking NES game here, but whenever I think of obscure game that I love that nobody really cares about or ever talks about, Captain Skyhawk is the one I always bring up. Super fun, Star Fox type game. Yeah.
Another one I'll throw in there, Brave Fensu Musashi. I think that could be a fun one to bring back, give a Square Enix remake treatment. And then I had another one. I've already lost it.
I already got mine. It was called SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for
Oh,
Bikini
you got
Bottom.
that.
Yeah.
I would want
Oh.
Gotham City Imposters. Give it to me.
Oh, that's a
Gotham
fun
City
one.
Imposters, State of Emergency,
You don't want
True
that.
Crime LA.
You don't want State of Emergency.
Disney
Mike.
Shadowrun from 360. I mean, I got all the Brink from
Oh my-
Bethesda.
You do not want them to bring back Brink.
Bring me back
it.
Brink, blessing.
No, man.
Yeah, I want
Brink
that.
is like
I'll give you all the crazy games.
This is why Medieval got remade. Just because people are like, oh, what's a game I remember from
Exactly.
before?
Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Dark Cloud.
Okay.
I talk about it all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah, that'd be
I think that would work so well in the modern era where roguelites are such a big thing, and then also life sims and like town building games are such a big thing. Dark Cloud was just both of those squished together in a really smart way, where you go dungeon crawling in these like procedurally generated dungeons, and you find town parts and you bring them back and you make a town. And like the townspeople will give you suggestions of, I want to be by a lake because I like fishing, or I want to be by this person because they're my friend or whatever. And you organize the town in a way that appeals to their needs. Such a cool game and such a cool idea and such good execution for Dark Cloud. But I think if you take that idea and do it again, there's something there that I think could really pop off. And you saw that pretty much with Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb had that same thing of roguelite, dungeon crawling, and town building. Yeah, I think there's something really exciting there that you can do.
Final two. Nightlife writes in Hi-Fi Rush. That was probably in regards to our Game of the Year discussion. Shout out to Hi-Fi
I
Rush.
fucking love Hi-Fi,
Yeah, hey,
but it's not a game of the year.
It's very. God, it's a good game.
What?
It is to me.
I don't know if it's
I mean,
top
it is
six.
to me, but
I don't
it's
think
not.
it's the top six. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just not.
Yeah, that's fair. But
Not top
It'll end up
six.
on
Hey, in
Kind
our
of Funny's top.
Yeah.
top
Our
six.
hearts is
I
a
mean, but
very
like
good game.
legitimately, like I don't even know where Hi-Fi. Like we are the ones rocking for it. Where's it gonna rank on our top 10?
I'll be
Not
honest. I've started
maybe though.
in my notes app on my phone. I've started to list out what my game of the year would be so far, like my list. And like a month ago, like a month and a half ago, Hi-Fi Rush is number 1. Now it's like number 4.
Yeah, dude,
And
it's just
I
dropping.
think it's gonna continue to drop. Sadly,
I think for me personally, it's still number 2.
some C Doy in chat says Hi-Fi Rush is a 7 out of 10. Mods, I'm gonna need a timeout. C
Who was
Doy
that?
for C Doy CDOY.
I see them. I
Yeah,
see
give them about a 69-second timeout for me.
Let's go to our final one. Mad Rots writes in and says, to be fair, RE4R. God, I just love when y'all just do that. You know what I mean? Just keep
It always
coming
throws
with it.
you off. I love it. I don't know what it
Just
says
throw it.
about my brain that I look at it and I'm like, I know.
You see
I,
that? Yeah.
I always read Reddit and forums. That's
Yeah,
why.
exactly. We're just throwing together letters. I love that. The conversation doesn't last longer than a month this year because of how many good games we've gotten just 6 months in. So to be fair to Resident Evil 4, the conversation doesn't last longer than a month because it came out. There's so many
I
good
can see
games.
that.
It got lost in the shuffle.
Because what I feel like the conversation cut off when like Star Wars came out.
I think they all get there. I
Yeah.
mean,
Whenever the next
truly and
big
honestly,
thing comes
Zelda
out,
still
yeah.
is super hype, but like it's not the insanity that it was the first 2 weeks, right? Like every game has its month and a half on social media, then we move on to the next thing, and
I
you'll still
still-
see big pockets of it, but like it's not. Nobody's
still see
sharing
a
their
lot-
dicks all the time.
No, I still see a lot of Zelda dicks. On my
you
timeline.
still see a lot of Zelda
Yeah.
dicks,
and not honestly,
Zelda dicks.
not dicks in
I don't see
particular,
any
but
Zelda
I do
dicks.
still see a lot of Zelda content on my Twitter and on my TikTok. Yeah.
No, mine slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
I don't see many. Not as much as there was. But with that, that is today's Kind of Funny Games Daily Post Show. We had a ton of fun with all of you, but guess what? It's not over yet. If you're watching live on Twitch, you can hang out because we're going to be playing Mortal Kombat 1, the online stress test. We got our guy, the Resident Evil fighting game champion.
Your resident
I was going to call him Resident fighting game champion.
Put an
Blessing
evil in there.
will be playing with us, of course, if you're watching over on YouTube. There's a brand new link that you can come join and hang out with us. Check out Mortal Kombat 1. See if it's got the juice to be best fighting game of the year. Bless will let you know. I'll be there. Andy will be there. We'll have some fun. Goodbye.